Hi, this is a quick review of a Kent Armstrong PAF floating pickup that's going to be put into my Carlo Robelli, which is essentially a Peerless guitar. The problem that I typically have with floating pickups is that I don't get a really good, rich, dark, plugged-in sound like you would in a set humbucker. Most of the floating pickups that most guitars, even some high-end guitars, come in, it tends to be very tinny. It's just, if you grew up listening to everybody from West Montgomery to Tal Farlow to Kenny Burrell, most of the recordings that I found that I liked, they were done primarily with that Gibson S175 type sound. That's what I grew up listening to, and you can replicate that stuff with a lot of different guitars. But floaters, which are, they just tend to amplify the acousticness of the actual guitar itself, so they sound like amplified acoustics sometimes, and that's what I typically get out of that. I had a Hofner Jazzica that I ended up cutting it up and then putting a set humbucker in there. But I thought this time I'm not going to do the same thing. Maybe Kent can build me something, or handwound me something, I should say, that would replicate the sound of a built-in pickup. And so I contacted him, and it turns out he does make a full-size floating pickup that replicates the sound, and he winds him up, I think 8.2 ohms, which is a little bit hotter than you would find in a 57 Classics or some other pickups. So anyway, he wound me the pickup. Got that yesterday. And voila, let's take a look at it and talk a little bit about the differences between that and a typical floater. Typical floaters are like mini humbuckers. These things are small, they don't capture all of the sound. They're not, wow, they don't sound good, to point blank. So I'm hoping to get a better sound. So this is the Kent Armstrong, actual Kent Armstrong, not WD Music bought on eBay, floating pickup that's going to go on the Peerless. So as you can see, it's got 12 pole positions for raising. If you want your E string to sound a little higher, you can kind of use, I think he provided me with one of these contraptions, sort of like a little mini Allen wrench thing that would go in there to raise it based upon the balancing out the sound of the strings itself. So you've got that. He then provided me with enough lead and everything to be able to do this. I'm gonna give this to my luthier, and he's gonna set it up. And stay tuned. In the next few videos, you will hear the Carlo Robelli with the Kent Armstrong floating PAF. Thank you. Kent Armstrong floating PAF pickup. Just put it in here with the tone and volume that I added to it. Let's hear how this thing sounds. Should sound a little bit more warm than it did before. Kent Armstrong PAF floating pickup. Added a volume button and a tone button. Or I said had a volume button and I added a tone button.